Hey guys, hello and welcome to episode 29 of Wizard Weekly, where we bring you news and humor from around the spiral, which may be expanding sooner than we thought. In last week's Feedback Friday, Professor Falmea mentioned playing through the mystery world that we'd covered in last week's Wizard Weekly, and hinted to it coming sooner rather than later. There's also 2 more mystery photos of the new world with coded messages. Some clever wizards have figured out these codes, and one of them is Find Her There, which suggests that this will be the next world in the Morganthine storyline and not another Wisteria, though... Now that I think about it, where did that boss in Elephant's Tower say he was from? As if to celebrate this jungle world they're teasing us with, KingsIsle has finally released the permanent panther mount, and for a limited time this prestigious prowler is 10% off in the crown shop. It's out with the old and in with the new as KingsIsle announced the retirement of the Epic Bundle. If you've always wanted a massive fantasy palace or a griffin mount, you'd better hurry to a Toys R Us near you because as of November 7th, these cards will no longer be printed. Outside the spiral, things have been kinda crazy at KingsIsle HQ, and they had to take Wizard 101 offline for emergency maintenance late Sunday night. A server rollback to correct the issue left several wizards without crowns or items that they'd received in the amount of time affected by the rollback, and Headmaster Ambrose has posted that, while crowns spent during the time have been reimbursed, the returning of everyone's items may take a little bit longer, so please be patient. The server downtime really put a damper on the topsy-turvy tourney finals though, cutting off Aaron Legendblade and Arc Warrior 3 rounds into their second match after Aaron won the first one, taking out Arc with an Ice Colossus right to the noggin after a long and icy battle. They'll be continuing the battle this weekend, so hopefully I'll have more coverage for you. Ugh, gluey tastes horrible. This week in Better Homes and Gardens, we'll be touring the sunken palace of Blaine Spiritswords, who came across his home while adventuring in Crab Alley. His mounts and pets roam freely outside the front of his 2 guest house he completely made out of glitches. Each house accommodates 1 guest and has enough breathing tanks to get you through the night. If you're not in a sleeping mood, you can explore the mysterious sunken pirate ship in a small trench just besides the house. Blaine says that on a full moon, the mannequin crew will actually start to move around. Ooh, spooky. Blaine had started to make a guest room in the underbelly of the ship when some of the crew rose from the grave to chase him off, leaving the room partially finished. As an apology, he created a memorial to the fallen pirates just outside his bedroom door, a gesture that the pirates seem to accept as they haven't looted his house yet. Just to be sure that there isn't any trouble though, Blaine has a bunch of cannons up on his glitch ramparts with elven archers ready to barrage invaders with cannonball, arrow, and boiling oil. Blaine's yard also plays host to a small village of crustaceans that hide out in a dark cave off to the side, frightened there by the skeleton crew of the unnamed pirate ship. While the outside of Blaine's sunken palace is rather cold and, creepy, the inside is warm and welcome, and a little leaky still. Despite the torrents of seawater occasionally washing away his furniture, he's decorated the interior to be inviting and fun, tucking a secluded reading corner off to the side. A small arcade for those fun-loving wizards resides on the balcony by his lava pool heater, which is enchanted to heat the entire house without ever being washed out. When Blaine first found the house, there was a small crustacean restaurant that he totally refurbished and stocked, ready to serve anyone who wandered into his watery abode. Just don't ask for the lobster. You have to put on your boots and wade through a small Halloween shrine before you get to Blaine's room, where he can rest after a long day of working to fix up his house. Most of his fixing up is done in his crafting room in the attic, where he tirelessly works on ways to seal off the remaining spots in his house. Blaine's home may not look like much, and it may need a patch here or there, but he's turned it into some place where you can have an epic adventure right out of a pirate tale. Arrrr, mateys. It's time to dry off by the fire with some letters from the spiral. Our first comes in from Lunar Knight, who's looking for a change of clothes, asking, "Do you think the first generation Crowns gear will ever come back, if even as a limited sale?" I don't think so, Lunar. If you take a look at the old Crown gear, it's really outdated. In comparison to other gear that we could be wearing at the same level, it's still kind of strong, but the thing is, there's gear out there that's even stronger now. For the old Crown's gear to be competitive, it'd need to be updated with new stats, checked for balance issues, and then re-released to the public. That's an awful lot of work to bring back old gear, and not really worth it when you consider the plethora of other gear out there that's just as strong. KingsIsle would basically be re-releasing this gear just so people could get the look, and this would also kind of rob people who had gotten the original Crown's gear of their uniqueness. They're some of Wizard 101's oldest members, and the old Crown's gear gives them something that kind of sets them apart as an older member. I think that in this case, it'd be okay to just let a sleeping outfit lie. Having been worn through the spiral by young adventurers, it's earned its retirement. Thunderbird writes in with a rather interesting question. Do you think parents will ever be able to view chat logs via the parental controls on the website? A very interesting question indeed. I think it's an option worth looking into at the very least, as there are parents out there that are still very involved with the raising of their children, and I could see them using a system like this to see if their kiddo was causing problems or having problems online so they could be all parental and stuff. I'm sure a lot of young wizards out there are groaning at the notion of their parents being able to see everything they say, but, if you're not doing anything wrong to begin with, you really don't have anything to worry about. This may even help with some of the around the filter swearing. I understand that not all foul mouths are young wizards, and not all young wizards are foul mouths, but I could imagine the ones that would certainly clean up their act if they knew Mumsy and Daddy could peek in on their conversations. Were a system like this created, I could see it being put exclusively into family plans as a kind of added bonus. It'd be terrific. Young wizards couldn't just go in and, turn their parental controls off, and Mom and Dad could just, peek in every now and then. It's a very good idea, and to be quite honest, though it is somewhat invasive, I would like to see a system like this put into place. Roju2975 follows this question up nicely with one of his own. Do you think Wizard 101 will ever be compatible with microphones in the future? Nope, never. Wizard 101 is a kid's game and therefore has a rather terrific filter system on it, not to hinder us, not to annoy us, but to protect us. I know you've heard this so many times you're probably numb to it, but there are people out there that enjoy hurting other people, physically and or emotionally, and allowing the use of microphones in Wizard 101 would just open the game right up to them. It would be impossible to filter what people say through microphones, and even if it is limited to friends lists or groups, the possibility for really, really nasty things to be said is still there. There's also no way to report people abusing microphones. KingsIsle can't record our conversations because it would take up an enormous amount of space, and there wouldn't be any proof, come ban time, that whomever is being banned for having a dirty mouth actually said what they did. There would be an issue with people falsely reporting people that they simply didn't like, and KingsIsle would have to figure out a way to determine whether or not this person actually did what they were reported for over a microphone. This would also cause a ton of in-game lag. because information in the form of sound is a lot larger than you think it is, and having to shoot this around from computer to computer through Wizard 101 servers would have it moving slower than me first thing in the morning. As fun as it sounds like it would be to have microphone abilities in Wizard 101, the harm far outweighs the good. It's pretty safe to say that Wizard 101 will never have microphone capabilities. Ever. Alright, that's it for this week's Wizard Weekly. Before I go, I'd like to remind you guys that this month's Better Homes and Gardens will be closing tonight at 1 to midnight Eastern Time, so get your entries in if you haven't already. I've also got something special planned for the month of December, but you're going to have to wait till November 4th to see what it is. I love surprises. Happy weekend, everybody! Hey everyone, it's Fawny. Well, there were a ton of bloopers this week. I really wanted to talk to you guys about NaNoWriMo. You guys know that I love creativity and being creative myself, and I'll be participating in National Novel Writers Month, or NaNoWriMo for short. It's going on for the entire month of November, and it's basically you challenging yourself to write 50,000 words by the end of the month. There's no prizes, there's no book deals, it's just you meeting a goal that you've set for yourself. The best part is you can write about anything. Wizard 101, pirates, pies, you can write about how much you love hermit crabs. Anything goes. I'll leave a link below the video for you guys, and I hope to see what you've all written when I finally emerge from my cave at the end of November. Happy writing!